Morning, I'm going to share the opening prayer. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles to harm me, obstacles in my path to liberation and no chains. May the experience happiness be separate from side friend safely. I will still them in the still answer perfect complete the Buddhahood. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those clear obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience happiness be separate from suffering safely. Always truly them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. Dala dan varese be da, no varese be ge. Tarba dan tam je je bala varde ju varese ba tam je sorse be. Manam ka dan yam be sem je tam je dewa dan de. Dungar dan jar nyor de lana me ba yang da var zo be san. Rumbo je do var za. Dasandra achieve enlightenment, are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Under death, are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now under this time tomorrow, are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. We take refuge in the kind rule Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas Vayadams. We take refuge in the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas, Dhakinis, and the Dhamma guidance, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Enter I attain the heart of enlightenment. I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the Levi's example of Bodhisattvas as the previous Buddhas embraced enlightened mind. And the progress on the Bodhisattva's path are to for the benefit of all sentient beings giving birth to Bodhicitta and apply myself to complete this stage of the path. I am the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent. I take refuge under enlightenment reach. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be suffered from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathagatas and the 10 directions. Those who have already reached the Tathagata state, those who are reaching it at present, and those Tathagata state to come. Through the power of Samatha Buddha's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest heavily in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the Gyokin of the excellent quality. To all Buddhas I make offerings of arrows, pure flowers, full of garlands of music, honoring oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offerings to the fine garment and perform the purple for high as Momeru and arrange the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to the Buddhas and make offering to them following the deeds of great Bodhisattva Samadabhada. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all Buddhas and the 10 directions of great Bodhisattvas and the Pacceka Buddhas, those who have attained Arahant, those who have entered the path to Arahant, and all other beings. I recourse to all great protectors and the Buddhas to turn the eyes of the way of Dharmas, the light dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 directions, leading them gradually to the enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intend to pass into nirvana, to live in long for as many years as the atoms of the earth, in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all these are dedicated. The ground is spanking with the scented water and strewed with the flowers. It is adorned with the meadow, the spring mountain, the four continents, the sun, the moon, as the Buddha fell for it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha first. To the Lama who possesses the Tirikayas, I offer water in all the sacred offering. With my body, birth, and all that is visible, this ground is supreme realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all these are dedicated. Om Guru Rena Mandala Punza Manga Samada Savarana Samaya Hom. Unequal refuge, O name of the world, your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are Vito Varjadara, Vido drove thy boy, the feet of Father Jiti Songo. Continually attain with no one but you. Compassion one grant your blessing. Dispel darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can the your mind. Please stand aware of the Dharma of the two vehicles and the combination according to disposition, likewise the mental capacity of a sentient being. Magically, his wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of clouds of two words, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text as his heart. He has compassion for all beings who suffering from the darkness of ignorance in the prison of samsara as a father for only son. Like a thunderclap awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramani speech. He wears the wisdom silver to cast and over suffering to dispel darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplishing the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, magician, adorned by the 112 sons of Buddha, to dispel darkness of my ignorance. Om Vangeshwaramo, 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 Om Vangeshwaramo. Om Vangeshwaramo, Om Vangeshwaramo, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade. Short press. You who are the perfect, youthful body, whose flame of wisdom blazes, and dispel darkness of worldly ignorance, are prostrate before you and praise you, Manjushiri. Yunagalen Jangwai Bo Yi Dome Rodamba Jiden the Mo Mensarwa Jambar Yang La Zanzar Do Tamge Do Je Jaje Reisen Do Yinja Mado Deje Bonjamba Serje Lembo Daver Jibeke 小姐家被下拉索软的多见强健的罗那罗达，马尔巴马来季节干波巴，阿摩着巴加软的光贝，卡就拉玛南来索软的。姐姐眼睛不长的，地上三界跟着我呢。 Ransem chike onson donzepe sabe lame jabla zorwande. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, so I'm going to share today. We go back to again Nagarjuna's letter to friends. So this has 120 or 23 verses, I think. So we finish 100 verses. Today is 101, I think so, right? Correct?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Then where did you go?
What happened here?
Where did you judge?
Yes. That's correct, Kempo.
Yes. So you can, it's a chat room, right? In the letter, or yeah, is anyone wanted to have this teaching, you can find in the chat room. So 100 verses, 101 verses today. This teaching, the last, I think we stopped a couple of weeks already, right? Here. So you, I think, remember Nagarjuna sharing about these different 6 realms sufferings. So today he's sharing here is God's realm. Yes, the last, we talked the God's realm when they're falling to the transforming or changing body, transforming when they die. So there has different kind of suns. And then the feeling is very sad, unhappy. So the life all is great, but when they're ready to die, and then extremely suffering, God's realm. So today, 101 verses. Those gods who transmigrate from heavenly worlds and did not have some lateral virtue left. You can use this on YouTube. Yeah, you can watch here. Okay, so this when the God's realm is falling, then they're actually already finished the good karmas in the God's realm, because they take birth to God's realm is extremely joy and until die. So that means like they did something great, virtuous deeds, the previous life. That's the reason they take birth to God's realm, and all the good karma is exhaust. So that's why they when transform, then die, they don't have good virtuous deeds, have some lateral virtue left. See, and do not have some lateral virtue left means they don't have good karma. It's already exhaust. So that's why they're falling to where tremble, helpless, to the just abides, as best or hungry spirits or inherents. So they're falling to these lower realms. God's realm is falling to the lower realms. That's why, we cannot attach to future life higher realms too. So we wanted to liberate, not wanted to go to higher realms and good something happen future life. But temporarily good, then when they're ready to die, see all good karma is exhausted, then falling to the lower realms again. So it's called cyclic existence. Samsara is a cyclic existence. God's realm, joy good, but it's falling. Same is like human beings. We see in the world the who has a power, material gains, the whatever they have in the world is going to loss. President can be go to the jail, right? And the kings also lost power. So many things happen same. The God's realm is falling to the lower realms. So that's why the point is Nagarjuna said, when we practice something, dharma, no expectation to good things happening, something, wanting liberation, wanted to help for others and help for others liberate, and wanted to benefit us liberation from samsara. No wanted to take birth is higher realms. So that's the 101st verses. Now we go to the 102nd verses. So that's God's realm, right? Now is go to the jealous gods. So the asuras means, I think, jealous gods. Big, rude, rich, the gods, their splendor, their embroidered, I think, loathing, thus torments their minds. So jealousy gods has, mentally all the time not happy. The reason is the jealousy to the God's realm. God's realm has so much joy and resource. Then jealousy gods recognize that they're, actually they cannot receive the good things. Or God's realm using all the good things. Same is like example, some country has good resource, but other country take away from the other, resource. So then, the people are not happy, upset, jealousy, but there's no power, no choice. So same, some reasons due to the karma, this jealousy gods has good something, resources, but they cannot use themselves. The gods around take over, using. So that they're extremely jealousy and they fight. And then God's realm has more power than jealousy gods, more warping, more power. Then the jealousy gods get hurt, and all the time hurt, and due to mental, jealousy is no peaceful, no joy there. So that's why Nagarjuna here says, so their embodied loathing thus torments their minds. Though clever, they are obscured as all the kind, and so it is they cannot see the truth. Then also this due to mental jealousy, that's a very strong obscuration. So due to that obscuration, they don't recognize true nature. They don't know the cause and the effect. They don't know the true nature, absolute truth. So the take birth is due to also jealousy gods is, they did some good. The jealousy gods is comparing to human beings. They have much opportunity than human beings. So human beings are more suffering the jealousy gods, I think, temporarily. Then actually human being has more difficulty than jealousy gods, but human being has more opportunity to liberate because less obstacle. So we have suffering, and suffering waking up us. And so suffering, the recognize, we waking up through the suffering. We looking for the truth. But these jealousy gods, due to their, obstacle, they cannot, they don't look to the truth. They all the time mental jealousy, they control. Jealousy, this emotion control them. So then that's why Nagarjuna says, these 6 realms, doesn't matter where we are take birth, it's cyclic existence, no one free from suffering. So he's sharing this to his friend, letter to friend means, like he said, don't think, take birth, future life, good something in the higher realms. Higher realm also is, temporary happiness, but came lost, then go back to again lower realms. So that's why he sharing again in this 103rd verses. So samsara is like this, means like he already shared, samsara is like this. We already talked about the 6 realms, one by one. So that makes sense because Nagarjuna, when he talk about our human beings suffering, we know human beings suffering. He talk about human beings suffering very clear. So he talk about animal suffering very clear. We know like animal suffering. Then that indicate he talk about hungry ghosts and other realms, but we cannot really, receiving our capacity or we don't recognize. But Nagarjuna talk about human beings suffering, animals suffering. That indicate other realms also he recognize their suffering. So then this 6 realm is actually, 6 different kind of suffering. That's why also we can say 6 realms. So then Buddhist teaching is followed by 3 yanas. So first yana is called Theravada tradition. We know, first basic teaching. So it's more basic level. 6 realm is like we talk about the different realms. But then you go up to Mahayana level, it's more higher level. So this 6 realm is individual perception. 6 different kind of suffering. And then that's what we call 6 realms. If you don't think about the 6 realms exist, so you look to in the samsara here, we see the animal realm and the human beings realm. So we recognize these two. And then some human beings, same as God's realm. They have a lot of power and the material gaining. Very high everything in the samsara, like in the human beings realm. There's material things and the power, everything. But when they're lost, we recognize all that much suffering. So that's human beings. Person, the body is a human being, but mental is God's realm suffering. Because then the person who has a power, material gain in the world, they did something past life. Due to that, and in this life they have that result, or they get this opportunity. We say like higher powers, but then they're going to lost because good karma is exhausted. So then people who has mental jealousy to who has some good things, that person is a body is a human being, but is the mentally jealous gods. Then human beings, we told attachment, always wanting, very strong desire, never satisfied. So we have that problem. So we are human being. We know human being suffering. The animal realm is ignorance. So not knowing truth, don't know the cause and the effect, and create all the time no virtuous deeds, and not knowing anything, So then that is animal realm. Then hungry gods is mentally, very strong, stingy, and self-grasping, selfish. So animal realm, the hungry gods realm. Hell realm means like strong anger. It's killing other beings. So that is a hell realm. Then their mental, like habituate or create these 6 realms. So that's why 6 realm is always like our emotion projected. So long as we have 6 emotions, then 6 realms exist. If you missing one, the emotion like maybe you don't have attachment, or maybe you don't have anger, then you don't have the realms not exist. If you don't have anger, you don't killing other beings through the anger, then you're not going to take birth in the higher realms. For you, higher realms not exist. Yeah, so that means like 6 realm is projected by our emotions. So some just we say like 6 realm exist or not is actually up to individual really. The practitioner meditators, the 6 realms not exist. They only has heavens, means like free from samsara, nirvana. Because compassion, love, wisdom, projecting or the perception is heaven. So that's why we are our own creator. Means we long as we have these emotions, 6 realm is we create. Long as you have enlightenment quality, then we create nirvana. So it's actually this up to us, like which realm we going to take birth, because which one is more strong habituate, so going to take that realm birth. And that's why Nagarjuna says samsara is like this. And thus we are reborn as gods, as humans, denizens in here. So denizens, I think, is for hungry ghost. As gods, as or animals. I don't know. Denizens is no hungry ghost. What is denizens?
A denizen is like a citizen, a lower mentality citizen of a place or space.
Okay, so denizens in here, and as ghosts is, I think, is hungry ghosts or animal realms. But you should know that birth is not good, a part of many earths. So if you take birth to in these lower realms, then it's extremely suffering. Nagarjuna says not really pleasant there. That's why he said, take care, don't take birth to the lower realms. If we take birth lower realms, extremely suffering. We don't want to take birth animals, right? So then other two is more worse than that. This God's realm and hair realms. So we don't want to reborn that, then what do we have to do? So this verses 104 is giving, I think, for suggestion to how to we give up these realms. Give up your efforts trying to stop all this. So we have to give up your efforts trying to stop all this. Means we have to whatever we can try to stop take birth to in these realms. As if your hair or clothes has just caught fire. Just do your best to not be born again. So the Nagarjuna, the main point, he says, give up the many worldly activities. Even you think so important. We think sometimes very important. He says, even fire come to your hair, but better just focus for the practice of Dharma, try to stop the birth and some in these lower realms. That means just many worldly activity, he said, stop, not that important. So why not important? Because we do worldly activity all the time. Then this birth is we cannot stop. Take to lower realms birth, we cannot stop. If we don't stop the take birth, these 6 realms or lower realms, then many lifetimes we are suffering. So that's why he said, more bigger picture, right? Take a more bigger source. not just cutting branches, yeah. So we cut the tree branches, then come back again. So take root, then tree never come back. So we're taking care something branches, but then actually come back again. Never taking care permanently, I think. So that's why Nagarjuna say we have to take care. The essence, the root is, cut the causes of samsara. So no greater goal or need is there than this. So no any other thing that we can do. Stop the take birth lower realms and take birth also higher realms to samsara, just 6 realms. Stop lower realm is good, but not that great, right? It's good, we can stop take birth lower realms. But then great is we stop take birth 6 realms, not only lower realms. So 3 lower realms, hair realm, hungry gods, animal. 3 lower realms. Then 3 higher realms, human being, jealousy gods, God's realm. So it's called 6 realms. So he says, stop, take birth to there. Then stop is like, which can we stop? He said, use this one. Verses 105. So with the discipline, and we have to follow by discipline. Discipline is, the body, speech, mind is followed by the virtuous deeds. So the main point is the humming for other beings. Stop the humming for other beings. So through the body, through the speech, through the mind, we stop humming for other beings. So it's called discipline. And the concentration, the mind is focusing, meditate, control this crazy mind. Have to subdue our mind, concentration. Wisdom too, wisdom means knowing true nature. Recognize our own nature. So then attain nirvana. Long as we have this 3, we're going to attain nirvana, free from these 6 realms. Peaceful, discipline, immaculate, right? Immaculate. So he says just we are become the arrive, reach to nirvana, take birth to nirvana. Then nirvana is peaceful, disciplined, what means immaculate?
Immaculate is kind of like pure.
Pure. Then next is Yurjin or origin?
Unaging.
Unaging. What is unaging?
Don't age.
It's unaging, deathless. See, so nirvana is peaceful, disciplined, immaculate, or unaging, deathless. It's free from death. So the point is like we don't have our suffering. We have a birth, we have a old age, we have a sickness, we have a death. So nirvana means free from that. Deathless. Inexhaustible means it's gone, right?
Means it won't go, cannot go.
Cannot go. And quite distinct from earth and water, fire, wind, sun, and moon. So that means like the point is, I think, you reach to the nirvana, then your happiness is never extinguished, right? Inexhaustible. Happiness is, never going to finish, yeah? Not going to lost. So the point if we get reach to nirvana, we don't have to come back again in samsara. So if we take birth to the highest realm, God's realm, then we come back again, samsara. So falling to the lower realms again. But long as you reach in the nirvana, then you don't have to come back to samsara. So your happiness is never lost. The point is you have permanent happiness. And quite distant from earth, water, fire, wind, sun, and the moon. This I really don't understand what it means.
Maybe the opposite of being with the elements.
So lastly, the point is free from these elements, affected. So we rely on sun, we rely on moon, we rely on these elements, right? As long as you reach to the nirvana, you are not rely on, you are free from this is five elements. So five elements cannot be affected too, then anything like not affected. Like we have here earthquake, fire, wind problems, water, so many things, problem, disasters, right? So long as you reach in that level, not free from desires. I mean the disasters, right? Free from disaster. This thing is not affected because it's free from this affected. So then next one, verses 106. So this is the causes of nirvana. 106 is, we wanted to attain nirvana, what we have to practice is mindfulness. So here, Nagarjuna said, up there is a tree, right? Displaying concentration, wisdom, tree. So here he sharing is a 7 again. So, first is mindfulness. We need mindful. So we know without mindful, then we all the time create causes of suffering. Even actually we chasing happiness, but create causes of suffering because we don't know what we're doing, right? And so mindful helps guide us. Whatever we do is not doing wrong things. It's do something correct, meaningful, good things we can do, long as we have mindfulness. Then also we don't wasting time. Without mindful, then we all the time wasting time because we don't recognize what we're doing, right? All the time minds follow the distractions and the thoughts and emotions. We not recognizing. Long as we have mindful, we recognize right away, okay, my mind is follow the thoughts, my mind is controlled by emotion, so then you can use something for solution. If you don't have mindfulness, then we don't know what's going on, so we're not going to look for solution, anything. Not going to change, right? So that's why mindfulness is most important, mindfulness. Discernment. So knowing the, Dharma is, I think, more we have to understand the teaching and we have to know what is right, what is wrong. Discernment, kind of like Four Noble Truths, we have to know what is the example, we don't want the suffering, or everyone, or any single being, we cannot find wanting suffering. So all these sentient beings want happiness, but we are, all the beings suffering, wanting happiness, we are suffering. Then we have to know where is the suffering is come from. So we have to look to origination of suffering. And we have to something apply, practice, antidote to the origination of suffering. So we have to get rid of origination of suffering, no suffering. Suffering cannot do anything. Suffering is a result. Yeah. So origination suffering we have to remove. And that's why it's Buddha or the teaching is antidote to the origination of suffering. So we have to know that. Example, we have anger. Anger result is a suffering. Temporarily, anger arising, we are not happy, right? And we lose our happiness temporarily. Permanent, like more bigger, anger take us, future life is lower realms. So it's more suffering. So then we know that, and we have to apply antidote is love and compassion meditate. Loving kindness meditation is antidote to the anger. So then, we don't want the suffering, then we have to remove our anger. We don't want reborn to animal realms, we have to remove ignorance. Not knowing, create negative things. So that's the reason. Is discernment means we have to know this Four Noble Truth teachings. And diligence means like when we meditate, practice. So we need diligence, joyful effort. Want to do, happy to do, exciting, right? Enthusiasm. Otherwise, like, no, I know, it's okay. I cannot do today, so then I cannot do tomorrow. I have going on these things like in tomorrow and today, so then you many lists next way also. No time to practice Dharma. Always going on something, never finish actually these worldly things until we die. Never finish. Actually, never finish until liberate. So we take birth, the next life also going on same thing. All the time busy with like taking care these worldly samsaric things, never finished. So that's why diligence means like put effort for spiritual path, practice. Diligence and a joyful mind. Not diligent, joyful for worldly activity. Diligence, joyful mind is for spiritual practice. Something for antidote to our emotions. So then that is called practice Dharma. If something not antidote to our emotion, then that no benefits. And flexibility means like your mind is a more flexibility, open mind. Really something, you see the true, right, makes sense. You will have to adopting all these good qualities, followed by your, knowledge, intellectual or, investigating. It's true, then we have to accept. So not just blind faith and not knowingly believe, and understanding true. So then it's called flexibility. Sometimes, like, due to the culture, religions, they don't want to accept others because they think, okay, I belong to this one. I have to follow this. I don't want to know any other things because my mind is going to change. I don't want to change it, right? So everyone has fixation with something on culture and on religions, very strong fixation to that. So here the Nagarjuna says flexible mind means you have to investigate everything, check which one is right, which one is wrong. So you have to adopt a right one. Concentration, so we already talked about concentration, meditate, subdue this crazy mind. Concentration, awareness. What means awareness?
Evenness, like consistency, stability.
Yeah.
Stable.
Equanimity.
I see. Okay, so awareness, Tanyom. and equanimity. So the 7 lumps are elements that lead to Buddhahood. So he shares 7 things here. This takes to Buddhahood. Okay, mindfulness 1. Discernment is 2nd. Diligence is 3rd. Diligence, the joyful is, I think, soon as a joyful is separate. This diligent and the joyful is separate. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the flexible is a 5. Concentration is a 6. Awareness is 7. So that's 7, yeah. 7 is there. Element that leads to Buddhahood. They gather virtue and attain the state beyond all pain. So this takes us to nirvana. This practice helps us free from suffering. So that's why I use this practice, and then we can get rid of our causes of suffering. Then verses 107. So, lacking wisdom, concentration first. So, without wisdom, then meditation, concentration is going to die. Cannot growing, right? Not there. So that's why wisdom is important. And the Nagarjuna, he shared the teaching is more, is Nagarjuna is the first Buddhist scientist. So all is followed by his intellectual. The investigating, using the logic and investigating. So his teaching is all focused for wisdom, Nagarjuna. Wisdom means like knowing, truth. So that's why he says we have to know what we're doing, is right or not. Have to use our own knowledge. So we have to create wisdom. Then long as we have wisdom, then of course concentration, meditation is growing.
Hey Michael, come here quickly. Somebody's stealing stuff.
What is happening? Something going on. I don't know, something going on here. Okay, so concentration, okay, so meditation causes is wisdom. Long as you have wisdom, then you can, concentration means like you can practice Dharma. Because you knowing what you're doing, right? Then you like to do. Without knowing, sometimes like we do, but then, cannot get successful due to doubts and thoughts. Something, we think, oh, it's not right. So then you already have dropped, then concentration cannot be successful. That's what's going to be first. Something may me. Then, and without concentration, wisdom too. So without meditation, also wisdom cannot have. Because when you meditate and control our mind, then wisdom also arises too. So this both are, dependent on each other. We cannot have without one. So long as you meditate, wisdom arises. Long as you have wisdom, then meditation is going right direction. So that's why we have to practice both. For someone who has both, samsara sea first no more than the print left by half. Half, right? Half. What means half? I see left by half. So long as you have these two, yeah. So then it's samsara is the same. It's like ocean, but long as you have wisdom and meditation goes together, then this samsara ocean is we can draw up. So first no more than the print left by a half. So they become like, footprint has like horse, think about the horse has a footprint and the water, little small water inside there when rain comes. So that water is very easy to dry, when weather is hot, sun comes. Same, like samsara is actually same as the ocean, it's big and vast, hard to free from samsara. But long as you have this wisdom and meditation comes together, then your samsara is like become same as the print left by a half, very small water, so easily can draw up. That's the example. Then next is 108. Okay, 108 is the kinsmen of the sun did were pronounced with silence on the 14 worldly points. On this you must not ponder or reflect. With them your mind will never be at peace. So this is a very good suggestion for us, Sometimes we talk and do things like no benefit things. So Nagarjuna says something you do is really do something good benefit for us. In this life and future life. Yeah. So this is the example. Here is called it's with sellings on the 14 worldly points means this someone asked question 14 different kind of question to Buddha Shakyamuni. So Buddha didn't give answer for that person. Because why he didn't give answer? No benefit to the person. The answer also not yes, not no. So the person want yes or no, Yeah. And the answer cannot be yes, cannot be no, but even say yes, is he go to the no one? No, right? Is other side, then no benefit. So he go to Buddha, whatever he says is no benefit. He recognized, that's why he didn't give the answer to the person. So he asked like 14 things, questions. So Nagarjuna, he always say Buddha has omniscient wisdom because he didn't give the answer to the person. Then here is Nagarjuna saying is, do something good things, but something for benefit for liberation. If no benefit, then don't do it, right? So if you ask a question, then like really benefit something, you have to ask question, yeah? And I also share the teaching is something for benefit you and me, and then I share the teaching. So it's not really benefit, and wasting time is Nagarjuna said don't do. Okay, so also when you learn something Dharma, study, is you have to really know it's benefit or not. If not really benefit, it's don't do, No, you don't have to do. Dharma means like something for benefit us, reduce our emotions. Something you do that affected your self-grasping, fixation, attachment, then it's great. We have to do that. If benefit, then we have to take anything. Doesn't matter which kind of religion, benefit. If we don't benefit, then that means don't do. So we have to log something, what is really benefit or us or not. So this 7 asked question is, he just asked questions is not related to the liberation. Okay? So that's why Buddha didn't give answer. And then I also told you, yes or no, both are incorrect answer. So the person only want yes or no, then he cannot give answer there. He asked questions, I don't remember much, but some says Jiktin Ta Yudami is this world is when it's begin, when it's end. Buddha actually, giving answers not benefit to that person. And then in this question, who asked this question is actually the teachings also talk two difference. And other teachers talk about us, and someone is no Buddhist person wanted to debate Buddha, so he asked these questions, 14 different questions. Some I saw in some history says is one of a Buddha student, he asked these questions to Buddha. So then he says, if you don't give me, he asked a couple of times these questions, Buddha didn't give answer. One day he said, if you don't give me these answers, I'm going to give up the monk. So Buddha said, it's up to you, you want to give up or not. I didn't promise you when you come to the monk, I'll give you all your thoughts. What you have thoughts, I'll give you answer. I didn't promise you, It's very profound, Buddha giving answers after that, but he didn't give these answers because no benefit to the person. The point is, it's permanent or impermanent, but it's not permanent, not impermanent, actually something. But he said it's permanent or it's impermanent. So Buddha cannot say permanent, he cannot say impermanent. It's, then he said, both or neither or something like that kind of goes 14 questions. If you go to Google, also come out this one, I check, 14 questions. You wanted to know is what is the 14 worldly points. But the point is Buddha didn't give answer. No benefit to the person. Okay, so this 14 question is not related to the liberation, the point also. So then Nagarjuna say, you have to do something for affected to our emotions. So we have to know why we are in stuck samsara. So Nagarjuna say, we have to learn something meaningful, no meaningful things. And he says this one's meaningful. 109 is, from ignorance comes action, and from that comes consciousness, then name and form appears, from that arise the 6 sense faculties. When contract comes, thus did the Buddha teach. So Nagarjuna sharing here is 12 length deeds, 12 lengths. I think you know this one, right? So I have this one more detail in this book. If we go these details, they take really long time. So I don't know what I do. I think you know all these, 12 deeds. Maybe we don't have to go to detail, right? I have to check what it says. No one say anything. Artie say something.
Whatever makes you happy, Kempo, I'll listen.
I need to like cut through, you know. Someone say cut through.
Cut through, Kempo. We know it.
Kempala, you don't need to teach it. It's something we can look up and read on our own.
Kempola, may I ask a question?
You're on mute, Kempo, too.
Kempola,
Still muted.
may I ask a question?
I'm mute. Yes, tell me. Lamin, yes.
When you were talking about this, it seems the teaching is divided into nirvana and samsara, and we should go for nirvana and abandon the samsara. But on the other hand, the teaching also, not this teaching, the other teaching also say there's no difference between nirvana and samsara. From a liberated point of view, nirvana and samsara are the same, and the phenomena world is just ultimate. So how do you reconcile these two different views?
Okay, so
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, yes, Lamin. I
Okay.
very clearly understand.
Okay, thank you.
So samsara nirvana is one, means who has realized is one, but no realized is not one. You know, think about so really cold, harsh weather, right?
Yes.
Okay, so extremely cold. You want water, there's ice, then drink the ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ice and water is actually one, but what do you need? You need water, you don't need ice. Because you cannot melt ice, too cold weather.
Okay.
So then actually one, but you know, we are in the same, you know, like in this samsara, harsh, cold, extreme frozen samsara, we need warm water. So we don't need ice. Ice cannot, you know, change it to the water because we don't have the ability. So that's why we're looking for water. We're not looking for the ice. That we have to give up the samsara. We have to look to the nirvana. Actually, samsara and nirvana is inseparable. Means water, ice is merged to the water, but ice is water. Water is ice. No, it's one, but it's temporarily different. Yes. Makes sense or no? I think some says yes, or some says maybe not. I don't know.
So Tempura, so when we are learning this, like before we are liberated, we can see that nirvana and the samsara are very different. We try to strive for the nirvana and abandon the samsara. But eventually, if we are liberated, then they are no different. We don't have to strive for samsara, nirvana. We don't have to abandon the samsara. Is it correct?
So if you don't have abandoned samsara, then you cannot reach to nirvana. When you reach to the nirvana, then it's a samsara is become nirvana.
So if that's the case, when you are talking about the abandon, the emotion create the sixth one. The emotion create the hell one, hungry ghost one. But if we are reaching the nirvana, then the samsara, the emotion or everything is just the same. So even the hell one or hungry ghost one are all the same, just as nirvana, because you are not bondage by that emotion. Isn't it true? So it doesn't matter if you are, so if nirvana and samsara are the same, then
reach the goal doesn't matter, but it's don't below the anywhere suffering. That's why we wanted to have reached to nirvana. But long as you reach to nirvana, then samsara and nirvana has become one.
So that's why the Bodhisattva can go to the hell one to help people, because that to them, hell one is just like nirvana, isn't it?
So that's, I don't know. We have to ask Bodhisattvas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Gautama Rinpoche once said that because in the Chittagapa Bodhisattva, he had vowed that if the hell one is not empty, I will not become Buddha. And then everyone asked the Gautama Rinpoche, say, if that's the case, that the Bodhisattva will never become the Buddha, isn't it true? And then Gautama Rinpoche said, the Bodhisattva go to hell one all the time to help sentient beings. And actually, the hell one is empty many times. But because when it was empty, immediately we filled up by the sentient being, because sentient beings just cannot help to create hell one because of their own anger and everything. So if that's the case, that Bodhisattva can become Buddha when the hell one is empty. Isn't it true?
That's that. I have to listen to his teaching, okay?
Okay, okay. Well, that's what I heard from, yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you, Kamala.
So from ignorance, is the samsara is starting from ignorance. And then ignoring, after comes action. So action is creating the cause. Yeah, and from that comes consciousness. Then consciousness come. Namshi telemengdam. Then this name and form appears. So it's become form appears. From that arise the 6 sense faculties. Then we have 6 faculties. You know, our body that arising. When the contract comes, thus did the Buddha teach. So then Jemchito is, you know, become is a faculties contract to the 6 object. And that's the Buddha taught. Is more is going, you know, here again. So when the contract comes, then after what happened, and then from contract feeling comes to be. You know, it's a 6 sense faculty contract with the 6 object. Then, you know, faculties like contact with the objects become, you have to be, and based on the feeling, craving means like when we say to the unpleasant feeling, attached to the positive feeling, where appears. So again, from craving, grasping, so then we attach to, so feeling, where be born, then that take birth. And then becoming, and from this, there is a birth. So it's take birth again. It goes like this one, and he talk about 12 deeds is followed by 3 lifetimes. Past life, in this life, and the future life. So some is like, okay, ignorance, and this many is past life. Some is in this life, then, you know, some is go to the future life. So 3 lifetimes have all this, this traveling, this goes one round. Then long as you have this birth, then once there is a birth comes misery untold. So we have a misery untold is unhappy, and sickness, aging, then once frosted, death, see, death again. This, see, in short, the whole great mass of pain. If birth is stopped, all this will be no more. So, so long as it stop the birth, then all this, 12 days is going to stop. So then, long as you have one, then they bring you the next one, then they take to the next one, so that becomes cyclic existence. So there goes cyclic existence, this trouble like this. It's like we really cannot point which one is first, which one is second. It's, like second, then no beginning, no end. So you destroy one, then it's all gone. So that's why it's here the teaching says ignorance first, but then goes cyclic existence, like no really beginning, no end. And you destroy here says death, birth, then other all going to stop. Birth is stopped, or this will be no more. Within the treasury of Buddha's words. So Nagarjuna mentioned about this, the teaching is very treasure. It's come from Buddha. So he talked about this interdependence. So this clearly we knowing no one create us. So our emotion, create ourselves. It's we create ourselves. So that's why Nagarjuna said within the treasury of Buddha's words means this is the treasure no one talked before. When Buddha Shakyamuni he enlightened, he discovered truth. Where is this, samsara is come from? Samsara is come from. Why we are suffering? Why we take birth? So he found the truth or the cause. So that's why Buddha said the teaching is called interdependent. Everything is dependent, not permanent source there. There's there's no so precious, so profound as this. And those who see that things dependently arise, do see the Buddha, perfectly knower of the truth. So Nagarjuna, the mention about here, the main point is, so he recognized Buddha has clairvoyant, the omniscient wisdom, because when he shared this teaching, that teaching is the truth. Nagarjuna said this teaching is perfect, performed, and it is true reality. That's why he said Buddha, so this world is precious, and who recognize everything is dependent. Dependently arising means not permanently, inherently rise. So everything is arise, dependently arise. Dependently arise is actually emptiness. The point is emptiness. Because you check, investigate, you cannot find the inherently permanent source, or it's dependent. So we talk about the right and the left. Right is also dependent left. Left is dependent right. Yeah. So if you don't have a right, you don't have a left. And then you talk about the long and the short. That's also dependent each other. So everything is dependent, not really have permanently exist there something. So that's why every being is seeing different. Every being seeing object is not same. The reason is everything is dependent. So, I drink the tea here. This is a tea for me, but some other beings, this is no tea for them. So we know the water is not only water for many beings. The water is someone's house. Many beings live in the water. They perceive water is their house. Someone is water is for poison. They cannot be within the water, cannot go water in the body, they die. So every being has different perceptions. We are here today like in the temple, this is called temple, but our human beings, so we call the temple, but maybe here has a mouse, sometimes going on somewhere. They don't see this is a temple. They see this is something different for their own perceptions. So then many other animals, bugs, they don't see this as a temple. They see this is a big giant kind of mountain, something, right? And each being has different perceptions. So that means that this temple is truly not exist. Everything is dependent. And that's the who know the dependent teaching. Then Nagarjuna said that person see the Buddha. Means that then person know the Buddha's knowledge. He shared the teaching is the different than other any religions. So many teachings very similar, talk about the conduct, we have to do good things, very similarity, many religions. But then up to in this case, no one talked dependently rise. So that's why, when Buddha teaching is followed by science, so you use investigate logic, whatever you use, never, like think like you see the okay, his teaching is wrong. Long as you have more tech knowledge, you use more knowledge, investigate, then the teachings become more clear. So Buddha saying is you recognize it's true. So that's why Nagarjuna said the Buddha, if follow the Buddha, the point followers have to know dependently arise. Then that person know do see the Buddha, perfectly knower of the truth. So Buddha recognized it, and also he knowing the truth, he shared the truth. So dependently arising is emptiness, actually not really inherently exist anything. We call the table, but the table is dependent, so many part or particles. So you investigate, you really cannot find any place like permanently inherently exist. Take all pieces of like part, no exist there. So become is dependently means is emptiness. Then go to the 113. We have to practice, use it. We have to use this and meditate and practice. What do we have to do? Perfect view. What is a perfect view? Perfect view is knowing dependently arise. So that is a perfect view. Then also perfect view has a temporary perfect view, absolute truth perfect view. Temporarily, long as we have hope to nirvana, we have fear for lower realms, we have to follow the cause and the effect. Yeah, so we create virtuous deeds. Virtuous deeds is the causes of happiness. We stop non-virtuous deeds. Non-virtuous deeds is the causes of suffering. It is a natural law of phenomena. So we knowing that is a temporary right view. Because as long as we have fear for samsara, hope for nirvana, then we have to follow the cause and the effect. So that's the temporary view. And the permanent view is then knowing truth, emptiness. So you have realized emptiness, then samsara nirvana is inseparable. It's table is seeing this table is emptiness. Emptiness is a table. So emptiness, seeing form, and the form is emptiness. Emptiness is a form. Form is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than form means. Then samsara nirvana is inseparable. So long as you have that realization, it's called absolute truth, perfect view. And then you don't have a fear for samsara, you don't have a hope for nirvana. So this is become nirvana. And then that means we have to realize this, dependently arise. Everything is dependently arise, knowing everything is emptiness. Nothing is independent, permanent. Everything is dependent emptiness. So then you no longer attached fixation to anything. So your mind is liberate. So that's called nirvana. That is a perfect view. Livelihood is do everything is meaningfully good way, no harming for other beings. This is morality, part of morality. Livelihood is. Yeah, so we have a life, I think, see, human beings' life, so we need clothes, we need food, and we have to find that. So when we look into that, is do something no harming for others. It's also due to previous life karma. Someone very easy life goes no harming for other beings. Someone just naturally life is go to negativity. It's no choice. Even take birth human being, some it goes really good, some life is go miserable, create so much suffering future life. So that's why we have to look to what we doing actions. If you do the jobs and that job really hurt other beings, harming other beings, then that is no livelihood, not a perfect livelihood. So we need perfect livelihood is do something is good for us, good for others, then it's called perfect livelihood. With effort is like perfect effort is, practice spiritual, joyfully, happily have to do something for reduce our emotions. And then mindfulness, we already talked mindful, we have to know what we're doing. It's mindful always guide ourselves. So use our mindfulness as our own police. Doing right or wrong, you have to watch yourself. And the concentration, so then meditate, control crazy mind, perfect speech, do speech also meaningful speech, no gossips, no meaningless speech, say something meaningful, powerful. And conduct is good conduct. Yeah, it's no harming for others. Livelihood and conduct is very similar. It's just different aspects, but conduct is general. Livelihood more kind of specific. Conduct everything what we do is like body, speech, mind, and perfectly good way to do. Perfect thoughts. So perfect thought is like good intention, I think. Do something, want to help for others, want to benefit others, and look to our thoughts is like really we doing this is something is our own benefit, taking advantages from others. So then we have to stop that. That is no good thoughts. So good thoughts is a win-win situation. Is good thoughts benefit us, benefit others. So that's good thoughts. We cannot have like 100% benefit others. Give up everything for ourselves. That is a very high level Buddhist art. So we have to do our job, individual levels. Something we cannot do, don't do. So some teachers say something, but we have to think about it. You have the ability or not. Yeah, someone can do something good things. We don't have the ability. Buddha said, don't do. So everything is followed by our ability. That's why Buddha says, beginners don't act same as really good practitioners. Okay, beginner people cannot do the action doing things same as a really high level practitioner good way, because beginners don't have that capacity level. Otherwise you get hurt yourself, you lose your effort. And then practitioner cannot put effort doing action same as yogis. Yogis does something crazy things, practitioner cannot do that. Yeah, so yogis can do like, because without cloth, food, they can stay everywhere, no suffering. But practitioner means like also stay, this rely on many food and cloth and the jobs, family. Don't give up these things. So then yogis cannot same act is siddhas. Siddhas more higher level. Siddhas cannot do same as Buddha. So it's deep levels, we have to follow. And that's why Buddha, the main point is, first permit Bodhisattva can give their body for others without suffering. Who are engaging Bodhisattva and accumulation path Bodhisattva, Buddha said, don't give a body for others. You're not ready there. So that's why someone can do, someone cannot do. So that's all according to individual level. The path is 8. So there he talked about 8 path. Here is 8 path. Lambs, the find true peace, please meditate on this. So this is the 8 path. Long as you follow this 8 path, take you to the peace place. It means take you to the nirvana. So that's why, Nagarjuna recalls us, please practice 8 path. This 8 path is the causes of nirvana. Please meditate on this. So then next is 114. Then 见的 dongar sipashi jiwa. Ten te kinyong jachin ten dogopan tarbal la te la tubji palan la te jela. To take birth is to suffer, and to crave is its immense and universal source. So I think this one is for the origination of suffering, right? Origination of suffering. Do you know what means origination of suffering? It's causes of suffering, origination of suffering. So to take birth, so long as we have a birth, is to suffer. Birth is to suffer, and to crave is like fixation, grasping, right? Wanting. Yes. Yeah. So it's immense and universal source, means this is all is a source of suffering. So taking birth in samsara and craving, like fixation, grasping, it is a source of the suffering. So then we have to stop the birth. We have to stop craving. Make craving cease, means like, see, this fixation, grasping is die or stop, and freedom will be yours. It's become freedom arise. So now this is very clearly why we are stuck in samsara, because it's self-grasping. So long as we have self-grasping, then emotion, then create karma, then take birth, then suffering. So now we stop, this fixation, grasping, and then become freedom will be yours, means freedoms arise. So this freedom is no temporary freedom. No, Nagarjuna, he talk about a permanent freedom. In the human beings, in this world, we talk about freedom is a temporary freedom. So truly, in the samsara, no one has freedom, because no one free from death, right? So that means we don't have freedom. We no one in the human beings around free from sickness. No one free from, old age, death. So that means like no one free. have freedom permanent. So as long as you free from emotions, then you get permanent freedom, will be yours. To achieve that, take the act for the noble path. So long as we wanted to freedom, so we have to practice this act for the noble path. So we already share a noble path. It is the path to take to the nirvana, taking us to the permanent freedom. Then verses 115, for you to see this same Four Noble Truth, you must strive hard to practice constantly. Even worldly me with fortune in their laps, through knowledge, crossed that river, traversed status. I think it's very hard, these words. It's poetry, right? So that's why usually I don't read this. It's hard words, but not for you. For me, it's very hard, these words. So then these translators always use the pick up the hardest words. They don't follow by the simple, easy way explain. The same is like, who write the philosophy book, they pick up the hardest words. If too easy, then the thing is like not that performed. So here's the main point is, so Nagarjuna said, followed by Four Noble Truths. We have to know the Four Noble Truths. Same Four Noble Truths, see, you must strive, put very hard, right, effort to practice constantly Four Noble Truth practice. The Four Noble Truth or four, same is like Four Noble Path. So, this, he talked about already, origination of suffering is emotions, fixation, grasping. That's the origination of suffering. Then origination of suffering has antidote, solution. The solution is a noble path. So a noble path take to nirvana. And this emotion, self-grasping, take us to the samsara suffering. So that's why Nagarjuna, he more focus here is the causes. A noble truth is cause, result is peaceful nirvana. And our fixation, grasping, emotion is origination of suffering, result is suffering. So that's why a noble truth, a noble path is antidote to the origination of suffering. Long as you practice a for noble path, then we are become free from samsara and get permanent freedom. Even harder to practice constantly. You practice this. Even worldly me with fortune in their laps. So this practice is even worldly means like just regular lay people also has opportunity to practice. Through knowledge, cross that river, traverse the right status. Okay, so the thing about this, Nagarjuna sharing the letter to his friend is king. The king is a lay practitioner, lay person. So Nagarjuna said, this practice lay people can do, not only up to monks and nuns, okay? So you can do, like he said, you can do. Everyone can do. So long as you use this, you can cross that river, traverse means samsara. You can cross samsara. So samsara is trouble, is like suffering. So you can free from suffering long as you use this practice. So then, and even those who released the truth do not fall from the heavens, no merge. Okay, this is very important. Like Nagarjuna say, who being free from samsara, that people are not come from heaven. Even those who release the truth did not fall from the heavens. Means this is we misunderstanding Buddhist many religions. Yeah. So Buddha teaching is every single being has opportunity to liberate. So this Nagarjuna here sharing is, we see many beings liberate, right? They are not come from heaven. They come from in the ordinary person practice is become liberate. So the Milarepa very clearly he mentioned about this part. One of his disciples told Milarepa, are you Buddha Vajradhara's reincarnation? Okay. Milarepa said, that is wrong view for Dharma. Who practice Dharma, Milarepa said, you can liberate. He said, same as me. This is the come from Dharma, not I'm come from heaven, he says. So you're thinking about, oh, these people have come from somewhere special heaven, right? Someone's reincarnation. Then we think we cannot do anything. So they are, of course, like come from heaven and always special. The ordinary people are always ordinary, right? Then that is wrong view for Dharma. Milarepa said, long as you practice Dharma, you can be same as me. He says, like you can be same as me means like you can become liberate, free from samsara. So that's very clearly Nagarjuna says. And even those who release, the means who free from samsara, the truth, who realize the truth, they not come from heaven. Okay? So you can grow in the ground, ourselves, can liberate. Yeah? So that's very important. This time, people has many misunderstand, even in the Buddhist culture, in especially Tibetan tradition, is someone like previous life reincarnation, they have very strong devotion, and someone has very special in this life, they don't think is special. They don't follow the qualities, they just follow the names become. So that's the misunderstanding, you have to follow by the quality, enlightening quality who has, not follow by the name. The point is, okay? So that means like who has compassion, we can follow them. We can homage to them. Who has wisdom, we can homage to them. We can follow them. Yeah? So then someone who don't have that, we cannot say, oh, he is like come from somebody's name, reincarnation. No, don't follow that. That's my view, but up to you. I really love to the person's, like is study Dharma and put effort for practice. It's good. So then I follow. Yeah. And then someone has a good name, it's win-win situation. It's great. But then without Dharma quality, and then no one is come from heaven. Okay? So do not fall from the heaven nor emerge. So it's otherwise like against Buddha's teaching. Buddhist like many country cultures directly against Buddha's teaching here. Like crops of corn from earth's dark depths, but once were wrought by klashas and were ordinary me. So then then also the quality is not just come from under the ground, no come from the sky, no come from the ground. Same is like he says, no same is like come from rain, from falling the sky, right? It's no one reincarnation come from heaven to here to, if that person, then no need to change. So the point is, who has enlightened beings is always come from ordinary people, transform, purify negative karma, and reduce, purify or like emotion, then liberate. So they are not come from same as rain from the sky. They are not come from like same as like seeds, growing in the earth. Crops will come from earth's dark depths. But then once where road means like once you really follow the noble path, by klashas means like you can destroy your emotions. And where ordinary mean is become, you can be Supreme Buddha, enlightened beings. So this give, hope us, because we know, so like, okay, we are ordinary people, we can liberate, right? So otherwise, someone is come from heaven, then we don't have opportunity to liberate. So we are ordinary, we can liberate. So use the noble path. We have to destroy this klasha, means like emotion, negative things. So that's the very special. It's you learn this letter, Nagarjuna's letter to his friend. All the essence of Dharma is there, knowing truth. Not just follow the superstition, and no culture, no tradition. This teaching is beyond the tradition, beyond the culture, and beyond the superstition. So, in the Buddhist culture, so much superstition. Where is going on this superstition is who knowing the Dharma. Then they're stuck with the superstition, I think, so much. But then people think that is a Dharma, but it's not Dharma. Nagarjuna never said that. Buddha never said that. The Nagarjuna never said, Buddha never said, then that is not true. That's just people make up, Then 117, we're going to finish it today. We have to add lalaho, okay? So then, fearless one means like he's a student, this Nagarjuna sharing to later, he's the king, is a practitioner, good meditator, good follower. So that's why he said, fearless one means like he's good ways to calling him, right? And he came also calling us too, who follow this teaching, then is fearless one. What needs to tell you more? So Nagarjuna said, I tell you the most important things, what really we need. For here's the concern that will truly help. So truly helpful, truly meaningful, something true essence. Then that's Nagarjuna say, I tell you. No meaningful, no helpful, he said, no sharing to you. The better poems is calm your mind, you see, something benefit, calm our mind, yeah, subdued our emotion, then that is he said, better point. For mind is the rule of Dharma. So the Buddha said. Then this is actually is a conclusion, kind of like all the essence of all together he put here in these verses. So he says, like, see, what need to tell you more means like the most important he telling, is we have to subdue our crazy mind. We have to control our mind, and then that is the essence of the teaching. For here is the concert that where true have the better point is calm your mind. For minds, the root of Dharma. So that's the essence of Dharma. So some practice make you more crazy, then you not practice it correctly. Practice really control your mind, control your emotion, so you really get more peaceful joy coming within your mind, then that is the right practice. So it's effective to, your mind, crazy mind, taming your mind. For mind is the root of Dharma, so the Buddha said. So that's Buddha said. Then this one, Nagarjuna said, this what he shares in this letter, sharing many things. This one, he said, you cannot practice everything, he said, because even the monks also cannot practice. This one he's sharing to lay practitioner, right? Lay people. Lay means like no monastic. So he's sharing to monastic people, no monastic. He said this practice even monastics cannot do. So you just pick up, something benefit you, and which is really you can for apply your life. You have to pick up that and practice. It is hard enough for monks to follow perfectly all this instruction that I have given you. So monks, nuns cannot follow everything, he said, what he giving here. Yet practice excellence, the very pit of one of these. So, follow just essence and mean essence of the teaching and give your life its sense. So life is follow more meaningful. No wasting, very hard to get in this life and follow meaningfully. This life is for something good, for useful, benefit ourselves and benefit others. No is going to dedication. Nagarjuna said what he wrote is dedicating for this practice, teaching, for dedicating to Mary is for other beings. Rejoice in the virtuous deeds of all. So we have to rejoice ourselves. We receive this teaching. Yeah, we have to rejoice ourselves and we rejoice each other. So who joined the teaching, who heard this teaching. Not only us, like when Nagarjuna wrote this letter, and until now, how many people use this teaching, study, investigate, meditate, and we rejoice them too. Then we rejoice that this teaching benefit many people, many beings, so we rejoice everything. We rejoice in the virtue deeds of all. No, we dedicating means, not only we listening this teaching, yeah. So when Nagarjuna wrote until now, this teaching followers, practitioners, meditators, teaching students, we all these virtuous deeds, we dedicating to other beings, not only my one, okay? We have to bring more bigger picture, think about every virtuous deeds. Or you go to when Buddha Shakyamuni enlightened, then he shared the teachings until now, followers, practitioners, meditators, all the virtuous deeds we can dedicate. Now dedicate your 3 good kinds of acts. So I think 3 here is the good thing from the body, good things from our speech, good things from mind. Those like that 3. That 3 good kinds of acts. To all that they may come to Buddhahood. So this all the virtuous deeds we dedicating to Buddhahood. not dedicating like next life I wanted to become king, next life I wanted to become president, right? So that kind you cannot dedicate. So if you birth higher realms, but become go down again. So we do dedication is really go to enlightenment. Then the practice is never benefit is never exhaust. So otherwise, dedication is wrong. You dedicating my future love is I want to become president. So you can be president, but then you finish your virtuous deeds, exhaust. Then you go falling down again. So that's called wrong dedicate. And we have to dedicate correctly is, to all that is they may come to Buddhahood, okay? Enlightenment. Then by this mass of virtuous deeds may you so may you means like he also dedicating to you means like he Nagarjuna dedicating to us. So he dedicating us liberated from samsara. So now the dedication is more Bodhisattva way dedicating. This first dedication is more like our capacity level. Next dedication is a Bodhisattva practitioner's dedication. I think so. So I just making up myself, okay? In boundless lives in words of God and me, be master of the yoga of all excellence. So then see, this means like you go to the samsara, wanted to have more people benefit. So I want to liberate. I don't want to take birth again. I told you already. I don't do this dedication. I want to pick up first one, okay? So you can pick up this second one. If you wanted to benefit more people, other beings, you take birth again, and lead other beings. So in boundless lives, in words of God and me, be master of the yoga of excellence means you have become leader of the other beings, do good things and lead the many beings from samsara. And like the Samnam Chinrezek, same as Chinrezek. Chinrezek, he promised, until samsara's end, he stay in the samsara, benefit others. And like Samnam Chinrezek, may you walk, so then benefit others until samsara end, to guide the many fever-stricken souls. So it's good, even I'm just kidding, if you have this kind of intention, then the intention take us liberation. So it's called special method. This special method is, even we cannot do this, but you use this good intention, then that is liberating very fast ourselves, free from samsara. Then next one is so all this next also more dedication, I think, dedicating and some good wishes, and aspiring from your wisdom, discipline and bounty, may your fame and stainless virtue spread throughout the God's realms in the sky. So
we're on verse 121.
21, sorry. Why I've jumped? Okay, thank you. Thank you. And thus may you take many rebirth in despair or errors.
Dispel.
Despair, remove, yeah, or errors. Trong ne nagan do cha shedang nam. Sarte sanje shen de chom ne ogana. So old age, desire and hatred in a perfect Buddha field. So it's a dedication and aspiration. May you have infinite life as protector of the world like Buddha Amitabha, Salam Lord of boundless light. So Amitabha is a name is explained, it's called Salam Lord of boundless light. It's the same as Amitabha. Tibetan we call Wupa means Wu means like boundless light. So that's why the Sanskrit just directly say Buddha Amitabha. So that's an aspiration. And then aspiring from your wisdom, discipline, and bounty, may your fame and stainless virtues spread throughout the God's realms in the sky and on the earth, and may your family, right? Family, Chiu is queer is the hardest for me. Cannot make pronunciation.
Yeah, means to settle.
Queer, the carefree ways of God and me, whose so delight and joy is pretty girls. So these are the wishes, good things happen and the follow by in samsara, benefit others, go up, and go up to the enlightenment. So it's just the main point is within samsara, benefit many other beings. And then, quality is gaining more strong, and free from samsara. Verses 123. So this is the last one. And once you have reached the Meti Buddha state, so become enlightened. So remove fear and birth and death for house of sticking and afflicted souls. So free from all this suffering and emotions. Then let more name be stirred beyond the world and reach the never change level, free from fear that knows no wrong. So his sharing is the point is all the Buddha quality, enlightenment quality. It's then reach to the enlightenment is free from suffering and perfect peaceful place. That is Buddha is change level, free from fear that knows no wrong. Okay, so now we finish it. This is the last is Nagarjuna. So he wrote this is a complete the letter to a friend written by the Salam master Nagarjuna. So Nagarjuna wrote to a friend. King Sordibadara. So we call the King Depchu Zambo, but it's Jarpo Dechu Lakroa. It's his name is this is Sanskrit. His name is King Sadidara, Badara something. It was translated, secreted, and authenticated by the line Indian about Nagarjuna no Jagarji Kempo Sarva Deva Sarvajana Deva and great rivers and translator Venerable Partsak. So Partsak, he is when this shows, the history. So history means Nagarjuna wrote this letter. Then when translating this letter Sanskrit to Tibetan language, so there is Sarvanjana Deva is the Pentita is about the Pentita. The means is this when translated is correctly. The Tibetan this letter, the Dharma text translation to the language in the Tibetan language. So use the one Pentita from India. Scholar means abbot, and then translator, Tibetan translator. So you have a meaning. All the words correctly have to translate. Not only you know the language to translate. So you must have to have abbots. Yeah, abbots is the Pentita. Then he talk and then translate be together, and then translators translate to the language. So then Partsek is also, he is the philosopher and the Dharma very high level education practitioner. So when this Buddha's teaching translation to Tibetan language, so that time, the first is abbots, is for Pentita have a very high level knowledge, knowing all this teaching. And then translator also have Dharma practitioner translator. And the philosophy, know all the Dharma. Then this be together and translating to Tibetan language. Make sure every meaning is be there, no wrong. So that's all sponsored by the King Tuzong Depsi. So this time we translate is not follow that tradition, The translators knowing some Tibetan, but just followed by Lord's dictionary and followed by Google. And then so many mistakes. Then also this Tibetan, just ordinary people cannot explain. Ordinary means who know the Tibetan language. They don't know this teaching's words. So you must have to have a, scholar, abbots with the translator actually. Zongsan Chense Rinpoche, he doing translation, this Kanjo text to English language. He require each translator with Khenpo together. But then, Khenpo also have really knowing the teaching, but sometimes misunderstand, that this time Khenpos don't have the same, that long time ago knowledge practitioners. Do you understand? I also have a Khenpo's name, but I cannot comparing the previous Khenpos.
Khenpo, may I ask a question?
I tell you, the long time ago, Khenpo is not followed by the degree, followed by the practitioner realization.
Oh.
Okay, when they share the teaching and the practice, they have knowledge with the realization together. So then it's called the Khenpo. This time all is followed by the education and the score, study and degree. So that's why, sometimes I use shame myself shy, like using Khenpo. But this time everyone using Khenpo, then I'm okay. Comparing to,
Khenpo, may I ask a question?
This time, during the Buddha time, Nagarjuna didn't have a Khenpo's degree. Nagarjuna has an Acharya degree. So think about it, the Khenpo is like, Acharya is like first step before the Khenpo. So Nagarjuna is like, we call Lopun Nagarjuna. Lopun means Acharya. Then Khenpo means the more higher than that level. But then some, of course, Nagarjuna is the absolute truth Khenpo. not the degree Kempo. Yeah. So that's why in these teachings, the come from is true Kempo is like Nalanda scholars, and also Tibetan has many Kempos. So then up to I think 1959, after the Kempos is no same as before Kempo. Truly. So the before Kempos means like no followed by degree. It's like followed by knowledge and with realization together. Thank you. So we finish the teaching, and I'm going to do the dedication.
Mute for a moment.
No finish here.
Okay.
Yes, what are you?
Can I ask a question when you finish, Kempura?
He's on mute right now, Lyman.
I have to mute to hear us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to do dedication first, please.
Okay.
Lyman, be patient. So then we can discussion. Okay, dedication first.
Thank you.
Dorjen chang telopa naropa marpa malarepa dama lord gambopa pamutupa lord digomba. Please bestow upon us most auspicious bless our Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may achieve omniscience by defeating our enemies' confusion. May all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, death, cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where it is unborn may it rise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activity suffer far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri the Vero realized automic state and as did Samanthabhara, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merry for sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the true unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of indivisible Sangha order, may the merry ashe bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by my seven or beings in samsara and nirvana, and by any rule of virtue, may and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teaching of Guru Digompa Ranashiri, who is omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, meditation, and end of the samsara. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, so now, Laming, your question first.
When you were saying that, oh, I just want to the first one, I don't want the second one, I don't want to stay in the samsara, and isn't it when you realize that samsara is emptiness, and when you realize samsara is emptiness, you don't have to go to the Sukhavati or to Pure Land, whatever, because it's all relatively just emptiness. And if you realize that, you don't have to go to first or the second. You just be yourself and be free, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So why do you want to go to the first one?
Oh, first one is easy for me.
So that means you didn't see through the emptiness, isn't it? If it's all empty, why do you have to go to the first one?
Until I don't have realized emptiness, I pick up first one. Then one day I realize emptiness, so I pick up second one.
Okay, so for all of us, that means we stuck in the second one. We will never go to the first one. The second one. Second one, we all go to the first one because we all not realize, isn't it true?
So we I
we
pick
don't
up
have choice.
first one, but I wish the second one. You know, my action doing things first one Aspiration is the second one, okay?
Okay, so should we follow your example or should we just trying to strive for the?
No, I want to
For
follow
the-
you. I mean, what are you talking about?
Okay, okay, sorry, thank Kambula. I'm okay, bye-bye.
Follow the Ngaching Rinpoche, okay?
Okay.
So, yeah, then Sarimina. Sharimina.
Yes, Rinpoche. Yeah. Faithfulness, namaskar first. Thank you. Can I ask questions about yesterday teachings?
Yesterday teaching, I forget, Sharimina. Too hard to give
Or
answer.
the offering?
But it's too hard for giving answer. I did a mistake, so many things, so hard to give answer for that.
Oh, hard to give. I just asked. Yesterday, I tried to practice, right? Like Rinpoche asked us to practice at night. But I stuck. I don't know why. I think I remember. But then now it's my questions like this. We visualize the syllabus bomb in our heart center, right? And then it dissolve, and then it come up either from our heart or from our head chakra and become Vajrayogini, right? Then Vajrayogini cut us and we become and put in the Kapala. Then when it's time to feed it must be Buddha Bodhisattva first. Who feeds them? It is Vajrayogini feed them, or we feed them, or we become Vajrayogini also.
So my practice meditation is too shallow. So this morning, Melissa caution is too deeper level. So more performed, you two going on more deeper. So mine is very shallow way thinking. I didn't think offer. I didn't think what we're going to take. I just meditated. Bodies become already nectar, and offering enlightenment beings received. So I didn't think about who giving, who's receiving. Just meditate and offering to them mentally, then gone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Just by the power of intention also can. So okay then
the point is I don't really go so detailed thinking about one by one that way.
Okay.
Okay, so the teaching case
yes,
go deeper because teaching means you have to go deeper, and when you practice means you have to do something you recognize you feel is correct, and something to organize one by one is complicated become. And teaching, so we talk about the body offering, but it's not suitable for the many beginners. Actually, who can do that, meditate, the bodies become really useful and powerful and offering. So you just mentally visualize, and even you don't have to think about Vajra Yogin is arising from your body. Just enlightening form body in there and wrathfully cutting body pieces and then offering to the enlightening beings. Enlightening beings means you're mentally offering, then you don't have to think about the separate Vajra Yogini doing this or I'm doing this, who doing this,
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Kempula, at the end, Kempula also said that our consciousness coming out.
Yes.
Yes.
You visualizing Yadam deity means it's arising from your nature, it's rising to the Yadam deity. That's why, you know, its consciousness arise to Yadam, Buddha.
Consciousness and nature, true nature is different, right?
Same.
Same.
Same
It's
thing.
like
The
same thing.
ice is water or water is ice. It's different or same. So then we cannot really give you answer like yeah, same, yeah, then or different. You know, either ways you can say, right?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Pujala.
Thank you, everyone. Tashi Dele. So we finish it then. Oh, another question there.
Yeah.
Gigi, please give me very short question.
Thank you, Kempo. In verse 105, it says, unaging, deathless, inexhaustible, and quite distinct from earth and water, fire, wind, sun, and moon. I didn't know exactly what, maybe I missed it when you said it.
So I think there is the point is you are free from natural disaster, not not affected to you natural disasters.
Okay.
You not rely on the elements. You not rely on the sun and the moon. You not relying on the heat. You not relying on the core. You know, like it's also you are free from all this our concept.
You mean like circumstances that arise from nature, or more like the elements from which like mind arises from?
Yes.
Second one?
We have to think about when we get there, so I can give you answer.
Okay.
Oh, I can
And then,
keep wrong. Can be wrong. My understand just point is, I think when you reach that level, you not rely on anything for this element.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Rashi Dele, see you tomorrow.
Kempo?
Okay,
Thank
Kempo?
you, Kempo.
Kempo, before you go, could
Thank
you
you.
talk a little bit about what's going to be happening next week with the teachings and what we're going to be doing and the times?
Next,
You have an echo, Kempo.
not my
Somebody
ego, the other somebody's ego, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone mute, then no ego, I'm sure. Okay, so tonight I'm going to Europe, and then it's next Saturday, Sunday I'll be in the Spain. I don't know the place exactly. There's somewhere island. So I'm going to share the supplication Saturday. Sunday, then I thought I'm going to do this Nagarjuna later, but it's finished today. So Sunday maybe no teaching next week. So we have to maybe everyone come Zoom and read this letter Nagarjuna is just together and maybe discussion each other, Sangha discussion. I think it's a good way to do. So then that following week, I'll be in the where's Italy? I think Italy, and I don't know, somewhere in the mountain. Their groups request Garuda teaching. So I told them we cannot do Garuda whole thing, just some essence of Garuda, Saturday, Sunday sharing, and then can do whole transmission. And that's Saturday, Sunday following, not the next week. Okay, so far I have that only in my mind. That's enough, Debbie?
Sure. I think that's fine. Just next Sunday, could you confirm, are we doing a discussion, or are we just not doing teachings that day? That would be helpful to know.
I think I wanted to everyone, like, do you want a discussion, Debbie? That day?
Oh, whatever. I think, as Artie said, whatever makes you happy, Kempo, will be fine with us.
This is for the Sangha, Sangha have to do. Garchen Rinpoche always says Sangha have to discussion each other. So if I join that day, I'm just stay quiet. So we read together once, and then discussion led by maybe Senda and Amanda Ati, you know. How about that? Good? Oh, then.
Yes, Kempola, that's good.
Sure. Will you be there then, Kempo? Or you're going to be there staying quiet, or how will that look?
Yeah, then I'm stay quiet.
Okay, that's really good. It's nice to have you there for a discussion too.
Then yeah, it's someone you know lead like great Senda Amanda Ati. Then you need more people, or you three are enough?
Everyone can share, Kempo. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
You three lead, okay? Discussion. Thank you.
Oh, and one more question. Will our times be 9 to 10 Eastern Daylight Time and then 11 to 1 next weekend also?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Kempo. Thanks for being patient going over all that. Thank you,
Usually,
everyone.
you know, Garuda can be changed to 10 to 12 because we're going to maybe use translator, Chinese translator.
Yeah, okay. That will work good for them the following weekend. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Safe travels.
Bye.
Great time. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.